Hi, I'm Dennis Weiss for Eagle Communications. Welcome to our town, the best place in Abilene, Kansas, the Midwest, and maybe America, in our humble opinion, is where we are today. We're at the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum and Boyhood home. We're in the office occupied by the new executive director, Dawn Hammatt, and you get to meet her today for the first time.
Welcome.
Thank you for inviting us in. We've been here a long time in this setting. My best memories when the camera's pointed at me are right here.
That's quite an honor.
It's a great honor for me. Carl always made us feel so welcome. Sam, it's good to have Sam still standing in the corner telling us what to do.
Absolutely.
You know, some things just don't change. So you're new to Abilene, you're new to this job, so we have a lot of questions for you.
All right, I'm ready.
Who's Dawn Hammatt?
My name is Dawn. I grew up in New Orleans. I always wanted to work in museums. I have a career in museums, mainly in collections management, which is taking care of the objects, knowing where they are at all moments, and exhibit design and fabrication. So I worked mainly in the Southeast. I worked in New Orleans and in Baton Rouge, in South Carolina, and in Mississippi. And now I'm here in the Midwest learning all kinds of new things.
So I just have a couple of comments.
Yes.
Now I know exactly why your eyes widened and a slightly panicked look came over your face when they handed me a pair of white gloves during our Why Like Ike program.
Absolutely.
That you sat in on. So we can breathe now?
Yes.
Okay.
You've been given all the rules and regulations.
Okay, so that's good, but now I know why. Because that's your specialty,
yes.
You see, taking care of objects. And you said, who's that man and what's he about to touch?
Exactly.
Okay, so, all right. The other thing, how many jars of humidity did you have to bring to Kansas to survive the first week?
My skin's drying out. I do know that.
Yeah.
It's been a lovely summer. It's been an amazing summer, and August has been just a delight, which I understand is not a common.
Not the common.
So I'm getting used to it. My lungs are drying out.
Yeah, you have to drink more water. Spend longer times in the showers and probably get some body lotion or something.
I've been warned.
Okay, so I grew up in one of the driest parts of the world, southwest Colorado. So my life travels, of which upstate New York, that humidity up there, you would think, how can it be that far north and that humid? But it really is.
It is bad.
The humidity up there in New Orleans, not too much different because you can't really pack more than 99% of humidity into the air, can you?
No.
So how do you like Abilene, Ike's hometown?
This is actually a beautiful place. My husband and I moved here, and we bought a house. We live in a very lovely neighborhood. We're getting to know all of the people. My joke is that I've met 6,000 people, so if I stumble on your name, please forgive me. But everybody's so kind and so welcoming. It's been a delight to get to know everyone.
We're very proud of our presidential library in the community, even the people that it's not top of mind to them. And that's a great thing. So for us, it's great to have the handoff of leadership and the continuity to keep us moving towards the future. 186,000 people a year drift through here, kind of important to the overall well-being of not only Abilene, but the entire Midwest.
You're right, there's only 13 presidential libraries, and we're very pleased to have one here in Kansas.
Yeah. What a jewel, we used to say, right? So from our perspective of being glad to have you, and who's Dawn Hammatt. So tell us a little bit about what your vision for the future is as you look towards it.
Okay, well, one of the reasons I was hired for this position is the museum, excuse me, and the foundation have already begun an exhibit redesign project. And so with my experience in exhibit redesigns and builds, the National Archives thought that I was a good fit for what's happening now. So I'm really pleased to become part of the team, people who've already been working on this project, to re-envision what our exhibits can be, should be, and telling the story of Eisenhower. One of the things that I find really interesting is over the years, as some of our documents have been declassified, we've been able to get new scholarship and new information that isn't currently on exhibit. So what we'll be doing is adding new information, adding new scholarship.
I don't know anything about the technicality of what you do, but I understand the volume of things that are here. And I think what's overwhelming to me, Dawn, is the volume of information that's here. So when you say as classification comes off, we have all new boundaries to redraw, I wouldn't have any idea how to go about deciding and how to make sure that people get a chance to see that and all the choices in today's world. But I know it's so important to do.
It is important, and through museum exhibitions we've learned how to deliver information, how to offer educational opportunities to different groups of people. Our guests make up a general community group. So we're not really using our exhibits to focus on one particular niche of our community. It's for everyone to come in. People who know Eisenhower, people who know the information about World War II, students who may have not had any information about this at all. So what we're doing is, when we're building an exhibit, is learning or delivering the information in a manner that speaks to everyone, meets everyone where they are.
I followed two 20-somethings up the walkway this morning who took their bags to the security officer and then made their way to the research room. I see that all the time, but this morning I followed them directly in and knew that we were here to film this program. So my mind goes down that line, you know, how many other places in our driving area have people dedicating their summer to writing a book about a president and walking in. It's an unparalleled opportunity for our community to be exposed to the outside world, because people have to come here to do that.
That's true.
And then they're impacted by the staff, they're impacted by the friendly people you describe here in Abilene. That is so good for us, and we couldn't do it without this presidential library being here.
Well, we understand our role not only as a keeper, if you will, of our nation's history, but also as a community member. It's really important for us to understand our place in the community, that we are here in a, I don't even want to say a supporting role, but we are a partner. We live here, we shop here, we work here. We believe in Abilene.
We used to film a lot of programs, and when we first started our outreach here, Eisenhower was the generator of most of the content on Eagle Local 2. My wife did much of the filming as a volunteer for the library, and editing on a little laptop on the kitchen table. That was a mind-bending job. But the value was that we produced a lot of content and put it on TV. I remember Carl telling me after we'd done this a while, so we were here, and how you doing, Carl? Good. Where you been? Well, I went to Washington, D.C. He said, and I took some DVDs and showed them to people, and people said, wow, there's nobody else doing this. So that made me happy to be part of nobody else doing this, but I guess it made me happier because it's the right thing to do. It's another way of doing what you do. This is what I control, right? So we're giving people access to people to get to know people so they can have access to your materials and your exhibits.
We're all a part of the community, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I like that. I still have my little volunteer thing in a special spot at home. It's very, very significant to me. All right, so you're from the South.
I am.
I have an affinity for the South. Even I grew up in Southwest Colorado, but my people were Southerners. My wife, as you have met her, is as blue-blooded Yankee as they come. So we have lots of healthy fun with that event. So you can, I expect you to be on my side if it comes up at a social gathering.
I'm sure. I'm
okay,
sure of it.
all right, all right. So that being settled, there's always a lot going on here.
Yes.
Gosh, there's never an end to the good things that happen here. As I walked in, I came in early this morning, but walked by the Marlin Fitzwater exhibit, spent 10 minutes going through it again, and it amazes me just in those pictures, what we see from a local guy. Marlin Fitzwater grew up here. First time I got a haircut in Abilene, an old barber downtown, I just happened to go in. He was Marlon Fitzwater's barber and had all of his stuff on the walls, and it's long closed.
I love those stories.
It was terrific. So, you know, but I just walked in, took a minute, come upstairs while I was, called Sam, said I was here, went through the World War I exhibit up here on the top floor. I went through the Chisholm Trail exhibit the other day in the museum. There's just so much going on, and with 2018 being a redesign, gosh, have we got a lot to talk about.
We sure do. So we have lots of exhibits. We have exhibits, as you mentioned, here in the library building. The Marlon Fitzwater exhibit will be closing in August. Frankly, the thing that amazes me about the Fitzwater exhibit is how many amazing people have come from this not only Abilene, but this section of Kansas. Yeah. This was an amazing place, apparently, was it in the water, maybe?
It must have been. The great lead-in for me, I claim a couple things for Abilene. I don't know if anybody else does. I claim that Abilene is a center point of the Industrial Revolution with C.L. Brown.
That's a good point.
Those companies are still, many of them are still running today and are you know, Fortune 500 sort of a things. I don't know too many communities of 6,500 anywhere in the United States that can claim those things. When you weave Eisenhower back into the mix, there's second place isn't even close.
Amazing place. So we're excited with the Marlon Fitzwater exhibit. It was through a partnership with K-State. We do a lot of work with them.
A lot of K-State's a great partner here.
Absolutely. But that will be coming down soon, and we will be putting up an exhibit from the Symphony of the Flint Hills. And it's a Chisholm Trail exhibit. We're very excited about it. And I think the thing that I can't wait is it's going to have cowboy music included. So not only is it the history of the Chisholm Trail, but it also includes the history of cowboy music, which I think is pretty fascinating.
I was honored to be one of the judges of the National Cowboy Poetry Contest this year, again in Abilene. I judged last year as well. And I was in Hayes yesterday at our corporate headquarters, and somebody said, so what'd you do last week? And I mentioned that. Young lady in our accounting department goes, and you didn't tell me why? And I said, I guess I didn't think to. But you're on the list for next year. So the significance of our community individually, this is something I'm kind of big on. However tall we are as individuals, when we stand side by side, it's not 1 + 1. It's really, after the third person comes, you're talking about geometric opportunity growth. And wow, with Eisenhower to stand next to, we can look really tall.
We can, you're right. So also, with the new Chisholm Trail exhibit from the Symphony of the Flint Hills, we are working with the Dickinson County Heritage Center for their Trails, Rails, and Tales event, which is the first weekend in September.
Right.
So I'm new here. I'm really looking forward to this event.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be really fun. And the Eisenhower Library will be a part of it, as we'll have the movie marathon in our visitor center, and we will have an encampment from some of our soldiers at Fort Riley, and we will have, on our grounds, we will have 2 shows, I believe, from the Commanding General's Mounted Color Guard.
That'll be fun. That's always a great thing. That Color Guard's a great thing. The partnering of our community, I think those of us who do it, maybe we think it's natural and normal, but when you go outside of our community and look at other communities, it's not so much. And this organization has led the way for a long time in saying, we're here to help. We're not just here to dominate with 186,000 people, visitor. We're here to help.
No, I believe together we are stronger.
Fair. Good. Well said.
Together
we
are stronger.
So what else have you got on things to do, things that are coming?
The World War I exhibit that you mentioned earlier is here in the library, and it will be closing sometime in the spring. We're not exactly sure of the date. And what we'll be putting in its place is a new exhibit with, it's still conceptual, so don't quote me, but highlights of our collection, highlight artifacts, highlight Eisenhower stories perhaps.
So could really special volunteers have drop something in suggestion boxes, you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. I've got one right now.
I'm sure you do.
So in the World War I exhibit,
yes.
This can show what happens on live TV. I mean, things change.
You can,
right?
yeah, you can move people.
That's right. So here we are. I'm walking through the exhibit, and you'd have to know my son. You have to meet my son. Sam can tell you later, but you have to meet my son. Probably the most knowledgeable person about World War II that doesn't work for you in Abilene. And he's 17. So this is on his behalf. You have the Browning water cooler right out here set up. You have a Vickers, and he'd love to talk to you for hours on end about both.
I have people he can talk to.
No, he'd like to talk to you about that. So you have the Browning setting there with the carry handle in the carry position. That means a young boy can't get down and look through the rear sight to the front sight and imagine shooting down Messerschmitts. That has to be rectified.
Let me write it down.
Fold that carry handle down, and those young boys will sit there and look through that sight and envision they're in the pilot's seat.
Okay, if I don't write stuff down, it doesn't happen.
You go.
So it must be written.
That's how success happens. That's an organized person there.
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Okay, what else that I can interrupt you on?
I'm personally excited about the eclipse coming up. So do you know about it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I do like science. I like all these things. And frankly, you know, Eisenhower started NASA.
Yeah.
So we have a little NASA connection. So we're opening our grounds to visitors on Monday the 21st to view the eclipse. We'll also be hosting NASA's MegaCast in our visitor center.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so NASA, from what I understand, will be simulcasting the eclipse via their amazing technology.
Okay.
And so you can come view it here, or you can be on our grounds and
bring
view
your
it.
own welding helmet.
Yeah. Please, eye safety is really important. We're going to have those cards that we poke a hole in and you can see the reflection, or the shadow rather. But please don't look at the sun.
Yeah, I've got 2 welding helmets. I'm ready to go.
Okay, well then you come on out.
Okay.
You come on out.
So that's good. So National Cowboy Poetry, Jeff Dawson brings that event to town. He also MCs the event, and 5 times in the morning between the start on Friday and noon. He mentioned this, and then on Saturday again, and said about the things that are happening on the campus here. Now, you had it going on. You had the baseball game going on. You had the chili cook-off going on.
That's right.
And so, you know, there were several of us who were reminded during our lunch break to jump in the car and come over and have chili. Eisenhower had a bowl of Eisenhower chili.
Did you taste it? I did.
It was very good. Enjoyed it and said hi to a few people, you know, and went back and did my thing. So, you know, economic development doesn't have to be not fun. Fun can make us all money.
I always have a good time.
I agree. That's the thing to do. So we got 2 minutes left.
We have 2 minutes left.
I want you to tell people at home how happy you are to have them walk up to you and introduce themselves in Abilene, and what that's done for you and your husband Rob to be welcome to our community.
Well, he's right. Everybody has been so kind and welcoming. People have dropped by with little banana nut breads, which frankly in the South we're supposed to be welcoming, but we don't do that. So it's been so lovely meeting my neighbors, meeting the community members. It's been just, y'all are really amazing people. We have been very excited to meet you. As a person out in the community. I got to meet you first. Well, actually, I got to meet you while we were filming Why Like Ike. That's true. Even before you started on the job. That's true. When I freaked out that you were touching stuff. You were just here. You didn't know what the guy in the gloves was going to do. So, but we think you're going to be great for Abilene and great for the Eisenhower Presidential Library. I think we're excited about what your leadership can do for all of us and your team. Yeah. Well, the team's amazing. Yeah, they are. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm hopeful that I can be a valuable member of the community. We're confident you will be. So the time is gone. It always goes by like that. 25 minutes are gone. It's because you're good at your job. You think?
I think it just goes by like that. So, but anyway, Dawn Hammatt, the executive director of the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum, you should get to know her, and you can do that on the street up West Country Mart, or you can come right here to the library and see what they have to offer you and say, gosh, I'd like to talk to somebody about what I can do to help the library grow.
I'll see you around.
All right. Dawn Hammatt, Dennis Weiss, I work for Eagle Communications. We're both wishing you a great day.